asked what he had managed to remove before he fled the storm in advance of the pounding rain. He paused for 5 impossibly long seconds. He held back tears, thinking not about what he had lost, but what he almost did. I saved a chest that I've been putting stuff in ever since I was a little kid. Pictures of my mom, baseball cards and stuff to pass to my son, he said. But it's part of living here. You save what you can, and Mother Nature takes the rest. From Key Largo to Key West, coastal homes were saturated by a vicious storm surge that rose chest high, wrecking homes and vehicles, leaving behind a stench of sewage in the sea. The Category 4 storm with sustained winds of 130 miles per hour took most mobile homes, toppling gas station pumps and splitting trees in two. In Islamorada, north of here, there were similar scenes of desolation and devastation. Although a handful of people wandered about on foot or by golf cart, the streets were eerily quiet. The only noise is the rumble of diesel engines or the pitch of a state trooper's siren. Radios crackled, and rescue teams reached for satellite phones, their cell networks deteriorating from fairly strong near Miami to gone by Islamorada. And in an area where mile markers are both status symbols and landmarks, the devastation varied from mile to mile. Near the boarded-up Abel's tackle box, a newspaper rack and ice machines rested on their sides, hurled by the storm or the authorities to the southbound shoulder of U. S1. To the north, a community of mobile homes was in ruins, and trees leaned on the power lines that electrify this chain of islands. In some areas, the line sank low enough to be in the standing water. I and Cudjoe Key, few people were on the streets Monday because the authorities have not permitted even residents to return to their homes to assess the damage. The only people around were those who rode out the storm at local shelters, and some who were brave or foolish enough to confront Irma themselves. Tim McKee lives at mile marker 52, about an hour from Key West, and had decided to stay behind at the waterfront property he rents. He ran the generators and tightened the strap securing his houseboat as the storm's winds picked up. This was not happening. It was screeching, said Mr. McKee, a property caretaker. I've never heard or seen anything like it again, and I never will. Officials with Monroe County, which covers the entire Keys, said the area continues to be closed for residents and visitors. Roads remained unsafe from debris, which includes boats, downed trees, downed power lines, sand and washed-out roadway. The Florida Department of Transportation said that all bridges on US 1 except those on the southernmost 16 miles have been inspected and are safe. They are continuing to inspect the remaining bridges. All 3 of the Keys hospitals remain closed, schools remain closed at least through Friday, and there is still a dawn to dusk curfew until further notice, officials said. Mr. McKee described how he huddled in the bathroom of the 3-story concrete house he rents as the water rose. It got higher and higher. He ran downstairs to his workshop to bring his favorite things upstairs. But each time he went downstairs, more of his possessions were gone. The sea had claimed it. It was like a mini tsunami, Mr. McKee said. The water kept coming and coming. It lasted for hours. It was in and out, in and out. He said he will never hear that sound again, because next time he will seek higher ground, perhaps out of state. That's a sound you don't ever want to hear, screaming like a witch or a banshee, he said. And I survived it. He did, however, cut his foot on broken glass. That's another reason it's stupid to stay, he said. If you get hurt, they can't help you. The place stinks of the downstairs toilet because the contents overflowed. But the houseboat docked outside made it so he has a place to live. Pete and Wendy Diaz, marine contractors in Key Largo, live several houses away from the shore. But that did not help when the water came. It seeped into the garage first. That's where Mr. Diaz kept his collection of luxury cars. A 1965 Corvette, which he had just spent $100,000 restoring, was ruined. So was his wife's 2016 Mercedes-Benz, another Corvette and a Harley. He hopes to salvage his classic road bike. It's catastrophic for us, Mr. Diaz, 60, said. We had a foot of water in the house. The Diaz's had heeded calls to evacuate, but when they arrived in Port Charlotte on Florida's west coast, the forecast had shifted. Irma was headed for them again, so they turned back. How do you choose when no options are good, he said. His wife, Wendy, agreed. I'm living the dream, Ms. Diaz said. This is the price you pay for living the dream. It was a sentiment repeated over and over by people as they picked through their soggy belongings. There's a price to pay, no matter where you live, Mr. Mills said. I choose hurricanes over anything else, because you have weeks to prepare. But you prepare and you prepare.